Welcome to Ideagen TV. Today I am honored and privileged to have with me Keely Cat-Wells, founder and CEO of Making Space. Keely, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Keely, it's 2024. And, in pre-interview conversation, we talked about our enthusiasm for the new year and for everything that's coming at us in 2024. And I know that you are at the tip of the spear. You are changing the world and you're leading the way. I'd like to ask you, for our global audience, what is Making Space? And most importantly, what inspired you to create this incredible organization?
Thank you. I really appreciate it. So Making Space is a talent acquisition and learning experience platform for companies to identify, train, and access pre-qualified disabled talent. And Making Space was created because previously I founded a company called C Talent, which was a talent agency that represents disabled talent and increases disability representation within film, TV, and media. And I created that company because I became disabled when I was in my teens and then lost a job due to disability discrimination, and also didn't see my experiences reflected within the media and within film. And C Talent became very successful and ended up being acquired in 2022. So I wanted to build on that momentum and on that progress and create a solution that was even bigger, recognizing that tech can be such a fantastic gateway to change and impact. So Making Space was really created to do what we were doing, but at scale, and to create kind of like a Trojan horse in a way. And I wanted to build something that wouldn't be deprioritized as soon as budgets got cut within big companies. So we created this solution that not only ensured that disabled people were getting into long-term, meaningful careers, but also helping companies save money on their biggest yearly losses around recruitment, retention, and turnover.
Well, and it's a testament to your leadership to think about what you created and the impact, most importantly, the impact that you're having, the types of organizations and individuals that you're working with, Keely. And so how do you approach specialization and aligning individuals to those roles that best suit their natural abilities?
Yeah, I think we were speaking earlier about the importance of representation and people being able to see themselves and have role models and see themselves in positions that they may not have even considered before. So one piece that we are working on at Making Space is not only creating skill-based education that is directly related to the jobs that are actually hiring within the workforce, but also having people who are already working within those companies who do identify as disabled or who are from marginalized communities, sharing their real experiences of what it is like to work within those companies, as well as teaching the skills that are needed to get into those roles. And it's been really incredible to see one of our first courses and partnerships that we announced last year was with Netflix. And Netflix have been incredible to work with. We had Andy Lerma, who is the creative design lead at Netflix, teach a course on key art and graphic design. And the amount of comments that we had from disabled people saying, I'd never even considered myself in this type of role. I didn't realize how accessible and inclusive Netflix was as a company and to work at. So seeing that people have been able to go from just not even thinking that could be a career path for them to taking the steps necessary to go into and work within that company or take the necessary steps that they need to be and have a job in that line of work has been incredible.
Well, Keely, and to see and to hear your passion, this passion and purpose combined is where just the incredible impact begins, right? And so what is your personal journey? And maybe even more importantly, how did you become involved in acting and talent management, specifically for those with disabilities?
Yeah, so entrepreneurship was definitely not the journey that I thought I was ever going to go on. I wanted to be a dancer, be in musical theater, maybe on Broadway. That was the goal when I was younger, when I was a kid and throughout my teens. And I was going to a dance academy and taking all the steps I needed to achieve my goals. And then, like so many, I became unwell, and after going to the doctors and spending time in hospital, I was misdiagnosed, undiagnosed for many, many years, and became so unwell that I had to drop out of college. I had to spend around 3 or 4 years, primarily in hospital, having tests and surgeries, and my life just completely changed. I went through a lot of medical malpractice, a lot of trauma, and came out the other side of kind of long stints in hospital as a disabled person. When I started to feel like I could get back into looking for work or looking to get back into education, I was continuously faced with accessibility challenges and roadblocks, and also attitudinal barriers as well. People thinking that because I was now chronically ill and disabled, that I wouldn't be able to participate in certain jobs or education. So I ended up not being able to go back to college and having to just kind of figure out my own route. So I kind of explored many different paths. All of them pretty much ended in me either losing jobs because of disability discrimination or not being able to get certain access requirements. So I just started helping some of my friends get jobs, and that really led to the creation of Sea Talent, and really wanting to fight for disabled talent to get into roles that deserve to be filled by incredible disabled talent, and that people have not been seen for before, or they haven't had representatives that have been fighting for them in the way that they deserve to be fought for. And people who representing disabled people who actually understand what they need, being able to advocate on their behalf, because it shouldn't be down to the disabled person to be on set and have to advocate continuously for themselves to get what they need just to be able to do their job. So that's really where the driving force behind Sea Talent came from, and was able to build a really amazing team of disabled people to build that, and then eventually sell it.
You know, Keely, it is just profound and just so inspiring to hear about your journey. And so, as we take into account your experiences and those of those that you represented, perhaps even more importantly, what do you believe are the common causes and or the misconceptions that prevent those with disabilities from having those same exact opportunities as those that do not have those disabilities?
I think if we look at representation and what we've previously seen of the portrayals of disabled people within media, film, and TV, that is a great example of how disabled people are viewed in society. The examples being disabled people are usually portrayed as the villains, the victims, or the inspirations. And those really pull from the medical model and charity model of disability, which both kind of have this piece to it where disabled people are pitied or thought that they are only there to make non-disabled people feel better about themselves. And all of these views and thoughts around disability have unfortunately made disabled people kind of like second-class citizens. There is still sub-minimum wage legal for disabled people, still not recognized, and have anti-disability discrimination policies within all of the UN member states. And there are so many issues that disabled people face. And currently, with the US Census Bureau looking to change the data questions to the Washington Group questions, which will significantly harm the amount of people that are classed as disabled, which will be very, very harmful to policy making, to funding around education and healthcare and more. And unfortunately, disabled people are not in positions of power, and have not been in positions of power, and they've not even been asked for their opinions in these conversations. Disabled people are the incredible leaders. Personally, as a disabled person, I have learned so much from my lived experience, having to navigate an inaccessible society, having to manage life as a chronically ill person, having to manage my energy, having to manage medical admin. And unfortunately, those skills are not recognized. But I truly believe we can change these things, and there are amazing disabled people who have been doing this work for decades, on which we stand on the shoulders of, and they've already made incredible change. But I just wish society would fund and let disabled people lead, ask disabled people for their opinions, and recognize that disabled people, at the end of the day, deserve the same rights and dignity and respect as non-disabled people.
Oh my gosh, so well said, Keely. Thank you. And that's just such an important statement that you're making, and the perspective that you're providing to the millions of people that will watch this interview on Ideagen TV. I cannot thank you enough for sharing that in that passionate way and in that very real way. And I'd like to shift a bit to ask you a little bit about the Born This Way Foundation. Some have heard about it, maybe some have not. But I'd love for you to describe the role you have as an advisory board member of the Born This Way Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. Born This Way Foundation are an incredible organization founded by Cynthia Germanata and Lady Gaga, Stephanie Germanata. And I had the privilege and the honor of serving on their advisory board for a couple of years. And the focus is really about creating kindness and showing that a kinder, braver world can significantly positively impact the mental health of so many people. And that they're also making mental health cool in a way, which truly destigmatizes all of the issues that mental health in general, and allows us to really dive deep into the important action that needs to be taken around mental health. I think with disability in general, mental health is not talked about enough. The conversations are often separated rather than having them within the same conversations, which they really should be. Personally, I had a very difficult mental health journey. I think, like many women going through misdiagnosis and being undiagnosed, there is often the doctors are very quick to blame your mental health on the reason why you are unwell. And that unfortunately means we will often not even speak about or seek help for mental health, because we are just trying to get doctors to listen to us and recognize our physical issues. So it's a whole world of to dive into, but the Born This Way Foundation also created, in partnership with jack.org, something called the Be There certificate, which I highly recommend everyone checks out. It is a course and a certificate that really helps you be there, both for yourself and others going through mental health or mental illness and mental health conditions. So yeah, it's been amazing to work with them, and they're one of the most brilliant and clever organizations that I've ever been a part of.
Well, you just, as a board member, my gosh, they're fortunate to have you because you are an incredible advocate for all of the above, for all of the inclusion, for all of the equality relating to this space. And it's such a critical issue. And so, Keely, your background is in the show business industry. Where, if at all, do you see Making Space having the ability to expand to support these opportunities for those with disabilities when it relates to cross-sector, across industries?
Yeah, we are definitely expanding beyond media and entertainment, which is really exciting, but also bringing media and entertainment into the other sectors that we are working with. A great example is the work that under Making Space we have Making Space Media, which is the media side of our business, which was co-founded with Sophie Morgan, my amazing co-founder. And we have the goal of telling the untold stories of disabled people and really bringing attention to and creating content that everyone wants to watch, creating entertainment, amazing content that isn't just for those who already know what we're talking about, but for those who may not have previously listened or wanted to get engaged with the issues that disabled people face. And we were lucky enough to partner with Reese Witherspoon's company, Hello Sunshine, which have really done this for women. They have been able to create the most incredible content centered around women's stories, and they've been able to engage all audiences. So we are hoping to do the same and bring attention to the amazing disabled people that get careers out of the tech platform of Making Space, and continue to follow their journeys and just really showcase what disabled people can do, and also create disabled leaders from it.
Absolutely inspiring. Is there, Keely, a specific story and or an individual from your time with Making Space or C Talent, your previous company, that particularly struck you as that powerful story, the example? And if so, can you share that with our global audience as part of this inspiring interview?
Yeah, absolutely. There are obviously so many amazing stories, and so many incredible learnings that I had from working with the people involved at C Talent and representing so many incredible disabled artists. I think the honor of a lifetime was getting to work with Judy Human, who is an phenomenal trailblazing disability rights activist, and she is also known as the mother of disability rights. We didn't work together for a long period of time, but the time that we did get to work together in the last couple of years of her life were the most eye-opening and just phenomenal experience. And I will say, Judy was one of the most modest people I've ever met in my life. She changed the world, and yet she had zero ego, and it was so fun to be able to brainstorm with her and think about brands that we could pitch her for and opportunities that we would pitch her for. And she was just so modest. So I think getting to work with Judy, but I think in general, thinking about the work with C Talent and also now the work with Making Space as well, chatting with so many disabled people and asking them, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve? What is the big goal? Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And it's a lot of the people that we work with will just say they just want to pay the bills, or they don't have these massive dreams that they deserve to have, because unfortunately society has made us just aim and work and want the bare minimum because that's all we can see ourselves doing. So something that I'm also very passionate about is making sure that disabled people can have the biggest dreams possible, and they are able to have the careers that they really deserve.
Keely Cat-Wells, founder and CEO of Making Space. What is your final call to action? What is that call to action that you would like to ask the Ideagen Global TV community?
Thank you. I would say use your power and platform to make space for disabled people. Create accessible environments in every space, whether that is virtually, whether that is in person, and provide disabled people with a platform. And also recognize that you never know who is disabled or who is not. Don't assume, don't judge, and also don't assume or judge what disabled people can or cannot do, and let disabled people lead.
Talk about changing perspective and highlighting and really educating people across the planet on this critical focus of inclusion. Keely Cat-Wells, founder and CEO of Making Space. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your inspiration. And perhaps most importantly, thank you for all you're doing to change the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.